everyone, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in creating this confetti necklace featuring a very, very simple beginner fringe design. This can be used with almost any bead and just some 8/0 and 11/0 seed beads. You can change up the design adding in bugles, crystals, drops, or really any gemstones and beads of your choosing. If you do need any supply, make sure to go below to the description of the video and check out links to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So our confetti necklace is really, really simple. This is a great beginner's fringe necklace that's not overwhelming at all. We're going to be using 3 seed beads in the standard sizes 15, 11, and 8. Our 8/0 seed beads we're going to do in the Duracoat galvanized silver, followed by some 11s in blush, and then our 15/0s are going to be in the matte cobalt. We're going out of our comfort zone color-wise for a nice summery pop. I have some collections of Potomac Crystals here in 2 by 3 millimeter rondelles, 4 millimeter rounds, and 4 millimeter bicones in varying colors of blue and green. I also have some brighter 3 millimeter check pearls in that nice burnt orange color, and then we're going to send it up a notch, adding in some of my flower caps here in the 7 millimeters, which are opaque red. Usually in the check, opaque red is going to be more of an orange color. To begin, we are going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of our 8/0 seed beads to some green 0.006 thread. I'm working with a size 12 needle, and I have a stop bead on the end there because we'll add our clasp after the start. To begin, we are going to begin with a very simple pattern that is going to get repeated over and over and over again. We're going to add 1 11/0 seed bead, followed by 3 of our 15/0 seed beads, followed by 1 of your crystals, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go with the light sapphire AB Rondelle in the 2 by 3 millimeter, followed by another one of our 15/0 seed beads. We're going to create the fringe by going back through the crystal. We're not going back through the 15/0 seed bead because then our crystal would fall off the bottom. The 15/0s always act as the anchor along the bottom. From here, we're repeating the pattern, 1, 2, and 3 of our 15s, 1 of our 11s, now very, very simple fringe here, going back through the last 8. Give a nice tight pull. Those 11/0s should sit right underneath the 8/0 seed bead. 2 more 8/0s go on. Push those down to, again, give that nice pull. Add another 11, 1, 2, 3 15s. Pick another color crystal, add another 15. Push that all down, back through the crystal and out, which will get you in place to put on 1, 2, 3 more of our 15/0s. That's never changing. 1 more of our 11/0s, back through the last 8/0 seed bead. Now you can separate this fringe out more if you want to by adding in more seed beads in your rotation. So there's our next little drop. From here, once again, super simple. 2 beads go on, 11, followed by 3 15s, followed by another crystal, another 15. Let that drop down next to your project. So back up through the crystal, and this time I'm using a 4 millimeter round in the metallic sky. Make sure you're not going through any of your 15s. If you do, just by accident, just sew back out there. From here then, add 3 more 15s, 1 more 11, and back through that second and last 8/0. I'm going to do about 15 of my single drops. I'm not adding in any of my flower caps yet. Those are going to make a little bit more of a statement, so I'm going to wait and add those as I go in, because we're going to progress from 1 bead drop to 2 bead drops to 3 bead drops and so forth to make it longer in the front. So go ahead and add 15 individual crystals added on to 2 of our 8/0s, adding our seed bead drop, and then sewing back through the second one. Most important thing, make sure those seed beads at the top, because we're going to sew back through to attach our clasp, sit nice and close together. After continuing the pattern 15 times with the single rows, then we're going to go into double. It's the exact same thing, adding in our seed bead, then our 3 beads, 2 beads in the drop, going back up through those 2 beads, and continuing that for another 10 passes. Once you have that done, you guessed it, you're going to continue with another 10 with 3 beads stacked. 1, 2, 3. And you can see how I'm varying the pieces that I'm picking up, going and adding in those flower cups now. I'm always facing them down, those flower caps. And then once I have 10 of my groups of 3, you can see that I've started to move on to groups of 4. So it's still continuing the exact same way. 2 beads, then 1 of my 15s, then I'm gathering 1, 2, and 3 of my 15 O's after the 111. Then I'm going to pick what 4 beads I want to drop. Every once in a while, I'll throw a 5th bead in there with the cap, just so you know. I'm going to say, all right, what I have been I used at the bottom for a while, that one. So that one will be at the bottom. I'll use maybe an orange one next to that. We'll use the pearl. And then at the top, I'll use the little blue. So I'm just eyeballing what I already have, creating my pattern on the fly. You can continue to do this for as many drops as you like. So again, I'm on 4. I'm going to do 10 drops of 4. This is my 5th one. And then I'll do 3 drops rather of 5 just to get a little bit length. And then it's really, really simple. Once you've thought about all of these different steps and once you've thought about all of these different patterns, you just repeat the exact same thing on the other side. So after I do my 10 groups of 4 here, going back up through the beads, and the pearls can be a little bit tricky because they're coating, but you can get them in there. You can go ahead then and start to downgrade. So after my 3 groups of 5, I'm going to start my downgrade. I'm going to start again with my groups of 4, like so. I'm going to do that for 10 rotations. Then I'm going to do 10 drops of 3. Then I'm going to do 10 drops of 2. And then I'm going to go back to my 15 drops of 1. So it's the exact same thing over and over and over again. You see my needle kind of going off screen. I'm using this time to clean up all my beads everywhere. Opposite here. So once you're done through your drops of 3, you are going to go in and do the exact same pattern, but backwards. So you'll look at your drops and say, all right, next we're going from this time right to left and following that pattern. I'll do the same drop on the other side, same drop on the other side, and you're making them mirror images of one another. After you have those 4 drops on, again, back through the second 8-0, 2 more get added, and then continue on with your pattern. So it's super simple. You can modify it however you want. You can add more crystals, more drops, even a little picot trim at the end if you want. Once you finish up the counts and the side here, and you can see I'll put it on then for you, and you're going to add your clasp. I'm using a simple cup button to add, and what I'm going to do is after my last 5 beads, because remember we did a rotation of 15 single beads and we started with 5 blank beads per se, we are going to add our clasp to the other side here. And my needle just popped off my thread, so let me add that quick. And then we're going to put on a cup button. You can put on any type of clasp that you want. There's not one that's going to be right or wrong, so it gives you a lot of variety to go in and put the clasp on. Flatten this clasp out here. Re-put that needle on. And then after these 5 beads, I'm going to add 1, 2 of my 11-0 seed beads. Go up through my vintage copper cup button here on one side. There's not a side to the necklace, front or back, so that allows you to put the button on either side, doesn't matter. And we are going to put 1 of our 15-0s, 1 of our crystals, and 1 15-0. It doesn't honestly matter which crystal. I'm putting a nice blue color there. And we're going to come back down through the other side of the button. Other side of the button, add 2 more of those coppery 11-0 seed beads. And then we're going to take our thread and needle the whole way down the project. We're going to go the whole way back through all the 8 seed beads to get to the other side. When we get to the other side, we're going to make a loop, reinforce it, and then come back through the 8 again to put on our button. Once you go through all of those 8 seed beads going back through the line, you're going to come out the last 8 right near that beginner stop bead and add 28 of your 11 seed beads. If you're adding a regular clasp, you'll want to add your wire guard and your clasp to that at this point as well, just like you would have on the other side when you added in that little button. We're going to reinforce this loop, meaning we're going to take our thread and needle back through all of these beads one more time. We're then going to tie off the starter thread and take our needle and thread back through all of that line of 8 to reinforce one more time and to get back and put another strand of thread through our button. So we have 2 strands of thread through there. Go ahead and remove that stop bead. And most likely you had to add extra thread during this piece. The place that I added extra thread during the piece was in between the 8 because it ties off really nicely. You're not going to see the thread knotted at all. Go ahead and do a square knot here, pulling nice and tight to get rid of that thread. And then once you're down and done here, you're going to burn off this thread end, take your needle all the way back, snaking through all those 8 When we get to the other side, you're going to go up through the 2 11 seed beads, through your button, through the 15, crystal 15, back down the button, back through the 2 seed beads. So back a couple rows of your 8 seed beads, and then simply do a sewer's knot and tie off the thread, burning down the edges to complete your necklace design. Thanks so much for joining me in the creation of this confetti necklace. I can't wait to see all of your designs in differing colors in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. If you're not a member there already, make sure to check that out. Also, if you would like to join us, we are usually on Twitch where you get to see the creation of these designs happening and in process. Remember, if you do anything different, help out your fellow beaders that are watching and give your comments below and give details as far as how you change it up, some suggestions that you have, or even color ideas that you may have in mind. Remember, this necklace can go so far with so many different colors. If you follow the instructions that you have here that were before you in the counts that I did, you're going to end up with about a 17.5-inch necklace. If you need to make it longer, just make some additional counts of rows along from your sets of 1, your set of 2, 3, 4, and so on. As always, if you do need any materials, go ahead and check out the description below the video. Don't forget also to subscribe. I noticed that a lot of you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, and we don't want you to miss anything. As always, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a nice and simple fringe technique and enjoy your confetti necklace.